Joining me now, it is the entire band of Tension Scale. Thank you all for joining me.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you, Dustin.
Absolutely. Second time for Lauren, and I think it's at least the third time, Troy, right?
Yep.
And John and Jay, thank you for joining for the first time.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Tension Scale. I've talked about some of your bands before, which you're not this band because this is a new band, a new as of at least this year, right?
Yeah, brand new.
So tension scale, I think we got to talk first. What is tension scale? What is it about?
Tension scale is my love for the movie The Burbs, the 80s movie with Tom Hanks. And I between coming back from Japan with razors before leaving for Beer Olympics, Japan with bricks before leaving for Beer Olympics with razors, I pretty much started writing a full album based on that movie. It's a comfort food movie for us. And wrote lyrics, wrote guitar and bass riffs, and kind of recorded them all in my home studio. And I had in mind Lauren to sing, which she's never done before.
She did a great job.
And yeah, that movie's about a cul-de-sac neighborhood and the neighbors inside of it. So it just so happens this neighborhood in Salem, Mass, where we live, has a bunch of awesome friends of ours who just so happen to be musicians and also like the movie. So I kind of just asked my neighbors if they wanted to play in a hardcore band.
It's awesome. We had to cover that, like first and foremost, get that right in and out of the way. I love the Burbs too. I don't know how long it's been. Probably too many decades since I've seen it. I bet it was at least 15 years or so. And after you told me that, I was like, oh shit, I want to watch that. I definitely want to watch that before we talk about the band. And it is not streaming anywhere. I do have a VHS copy and I was kind of lazy. I haven't actually hooked up. I've kept my VCR all throughout the moves I've done, and I have several VHS from back in the 90s when I worked at a video store. And I have the Burbs, and that was my only way to watch it. And I was kind of lazy and didn't bother trying to figure out how to get it connected to my newer TVs.
It's not on Amazon?
Yeah, I thought it was
No, it probably is, like everything's probably on Amazon to buy. I've got like all the other streaming things, and I guess I could have bought it or rented it or something like that. I just looked on all the streaming platforms that I have and figured somebody's got to have this movie, right? They have great movies all the time, and why wouldn't the Burbs be on something that's right now? But I couldn't
feel
find
like
it.
watching it on VHS is probably the right way.
Yeah, totally.
Given its vintage,
Yes.
like, that's like the preferred viewing method. I mean,
Right?
an old clamshell, those old school clamshell VHS cases.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with John. I do have like the DVD and the Blu-ray, and I probably have a tape of a tape on VHS, but I think that's probably the way to go if you want to be real vintage.
That'd be an authentic viewing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna have to do it. I wish I would have done it before this. I kept thinking about it, and I don't know how I'm gonna hook that VCR.
to
I
you
was
the
gonna
whole
say,
movie
yeah.
right now, like top
You're-
to bottom.
you're
if you
good
want,
hands.
Right.
Off the cuff quotes.
No interview.
No
just-
cues necessary.
Yeah.
Well, so you wrote a whole album based on the movie. You have 5 tracks. What you have listed now is listed as a demo. So, what is the plan next step then for music with Tension Scale?
So in total, we've got about 10 songs that we can play live, which we just played at our first show ever a couple weeks ago. And we're set to record the next 5 in December. And then after that, we'll probably, and when I mean record, I mean 2 of the guys from Razors in the Night, Swit and Ian, come into my basement and record us with a bunch of SM58 microphones. Pretty much how we did that last record. And yeah, we'll record the next 5, and then after that, we'll probably go to a big boy studio.
Excellent. Well, that's cool. So, how did the first show go? First show was what, a week and a half ago, week ago Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can have to go, yeah.
I saw a video, so I got to see just a little bit, and it looked great. How was it getting to do the first show together?
I thought it was pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, I know I've played in a band with Troy before, and I've seen Lauren perform a bunch of times behind the kit. And obviously I've been rocking out with Jay, but I feel like there's a different situation when we are performing in front of other people versus like watching other people's bands and things like that. So there's always that element of like, how is this gonna go? This is our first time. And I would say that it clicked really, really well, especially despite there are a couple of technical difficulties that we were having with like stage monitors and stuff that kind of threw us.
Yeah.
But even in spite of that stuff, I feel like it went like really, really well. Considering how first shows can sometimes go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like
it
no one
killed.
broke a string. No one was in mid scream when the microphone cord fell out.
Yeah.
No amp blew up. No drum rise.
No
was
major
on.
catastrophe.
Yeah, which is super rare.
And the response was really, really encouraging too.
Yeah.
Like we had, obviously we had a lot of friends in the room, but we had a lot of people, at least that I didn't know in the room. And overall, everybody just seemed to be really stoked on what we were doing and how it was coming off. So I was pretty pleased that, I don't want to speak for the whole band, but I feel like we're all on the same page.
Actually got a really funny message from Jeff Allen today at work. And he's like, I meant to tell you, we had like a conversation at the show, but I just wanted to reach out and say, you guys did so good. It went so well. Like, I know you were nervous, blah, blah, blah. But, I hope I didn't like say anything to offend you that night. And I was like, what? This is our friend who's like very,
And-
very nice.
And also
He's
the
a
drummer.
drummer in other bands.
for
And I was
Razor.
like, what would you have ever said? Like, what are you even talking about? He's like, well, you kept saying something about size of dicks and like dick length and stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's like that's all I talk about all the time. And it was probably you. I was like thanking you or just telling you to suck my dick. Like, I don't know.
I think she started this. I think she said,
I said suck my dick. The song's called Green Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
He's gonna like set the standard off the bat. But it was just really cute because he was like overly, congratulatory and like, making sure that I knew that we did good. And he was very impressed. And he's like, I don't know if it came across well. I'm like, I think you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, Lauren was a little nervous being her first time ever performing outside of behind a drum kit, and I knew she was going to absolutely destroy and take command of the stage. It wasn't even a question. But I think 2 minutes into the first song, everybody we were like, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Well, the clip that you posted on your Instagram page, that's what I got to see. And yeah, there was definitely no signs of nerves there.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's also, a couple of beverages were involved.
Liquid
Yeah,
courage.
I was also nervous about that because I'm like, am I going to drink too many and then forget all the words? Like, we have to find that balance. But no, I think it went well. And I think also I had, there was people, I mean, I probably knew everyone in the room, but everyone right up front and the lighting was such that I couldn't see past the first row or two anyway. So I was like, oh, all of my favorite people are right here. So I can just focus on that and not think about anybody else. So yeah, it was fine. I think if we ever played some other, like if we played some huge hardcore show at Sonia or something that the audience is made up of a bunch of tough guys that I don't know.
You'll still do fine.
Yeah.
And Jake
I'll
Hill,
just try to
this is
fight them all.
his first time playing live with us.
Yep.
So that was a treat as well.
It was nice
Don't-
to hear everything and like
Yeah.
there was no explosions anywhere, so yeah.
Well, maybe you can set up some of your own explosions. I mean, thematically, you're there with the Burbs lyrically, right? But the other parts of the themes you could get into the stage act.
Yeah,
we
like
could
a
bring a-
hideous raging inferno.
You just bring a house in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, like, drive a car and full of the trunks or the trunk full of
Oh.
skulls.
So are all 10 tracks, are they all Burbs themed? So anybody that would know the Burbs, obviously it's a cult classic, been around. But if you're like me and haven't seen it in a long time, I've seen, I don't know how many thousands of movies since the last time I've seen that. So I really remember the concept and some of the actors in the movies. I don't remember everything as distinctly as I would like, but for those that are fans and have maybe watched it more recently, I know you have on the demos, you have some audio clips that go along with it. Is that all 10 tracks once they're all said and done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every song.
Every song. And so is there plans for part 2? I know you got to get part 1 done before part 2, but how many tracks, how many albums is a Burbs themed hardcore band?
I mean, I've got 15 songs done.
Nice.
I wrote music for another one for Lauren to write lyrics to. John just wrote a song. And I actually just wrote one Sunday night, another one that I already had words to. I'm connecting the music to it. Sorry.
Good.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that.
Well, there's also like the ability to, I mean, there's every single character
Yeah.
in the movie could get their own song. Like
Right.
Garbage Man could be one song.
Easy.
Garbage Man 1 and Garbage Man 2.
Garbage
Yeah,
Man.
great. And then there's also like, I mean, I would love to write, if I could actually write lyrics, we'll see, about Carrie Fisher's character.
Oh yeah, I've got one about her.
Yeah.
Carol's Mosh.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's right. So, and then there's also like in Green Sky, for instance, we kind of, and that there's a scene where the whole Green Sky thing comes from, where Corey Feldman's character, Ricky, is talking about the movie The Sentinel. And then there's a whole breakdown in that song that's about the movie The Sentinel. And then there was another one where the actress that plays Rumsfeld's wife
Mrs. Rumsfeld.
Wife
is also in
the movie Inner
Space. And then John loves that movie. So he's like, I'll do a whole part where, I write about that movie. So we can the
crossover
pull out. Yeah,
potential.
exactly. Or like
There's
like-
fan fiction potential. I want to know
Oh,
like
yeah.
what pizza dude goes home to.
Yeah.
So like there's a never ending
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
of material.
There's also like people like Klopek is also Malachi in Children of the Corn.
Right.
So we could write a movie about Malachi. I've read a song about Malachi. Like I feel like there's so many ways you could like. It's like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing where it's just this spider web that just keeps going and going.
I've also got a copy of the original script, and there's a character that they wrote out of the movie that I also wrote a song about.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, if we go to the script, the original script, there's like half of it's not
Yeah.
even in the movie.
Yeah,
So
the
we could
original
do, like,
script
yeah.
is
Joe Dante.
Joe Dante.
Gene Dante, one of our
Gene
yeah.
Dante, if you're watching, what's up, bro?
What's up? Joe Dante, the director of the film, because there was a writer strike, couldn't rewrite the script before they started filming. So he encouraged ad-libbing. And during that time in the 80s, all these actors were like members of the Actors Guild Union. So they were like, nope, the script is what we do. But he finally got Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher to start ad-libbing. So once the rest of the cast started seeing them do it, they all started doing it. And when you read the script, I got to say the ad-libbing is way better than some of the lines that was originally written, for sure.
I think there's probably an element to that. I think you're going to get good movies. You see in the outtakes and stuff like that. And, without knowing, I don't watch all the commentaries and stuff, but I think a lot of those get included and you see a lot of great stuff. I think there's something to a writer writes, but if a writer isn't acting and kind of, going through those processes there, I think it's somewhat limited on the storytelling as opposed to, our visual storytellers are the actors and actresses. And there's probably something more to the storytelling that the ad-libbing works with. I think all the sketch comedy shows are probably a great example of that too.
It like writes a whole new story that maybe the original writer didn't even think about.
Because
Right.
I'm that character. And
Yeah.
so this is what the character would do.
Is there a commentary on DVD?
Yeah, I've listened to it like a couple times.
All right, I was gonna say that would probably inspire a lot of.
One other fun fact about the movie, when we're talking about the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, the dog Queenie in The Burbs is also the dog from Silence of the Lambs. And
Precious.
Princess.
It's either Princess or Precious now. I can't
And
remember.
I wrote a song about her called "I Set to Kill," based on the scene where it closes up on all the eyes of everybody. The last one is the dog.
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like there's a plenty, me being limited on the movie. I love where you're going with the variety, the fan fiction potentials.
Erotic fan fiction.
Erotic.
Hey, I mean, there's got to be at least one song that you have a fan fiction, and then why not take another one into erotic fan fiction?
And in the movie itself, they not only talk about the Sentinel, but they show The Exorcist.
Yeah.
They show Devil's Reign. They
Like
show
Mr.
Texas
Robot.
Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
Like in the film itself. So they had to get rights to all those movies.
The film itself is like a love letter to a lot of these very,
Horror
very
movies.
classic horror movies that we are also big fans of as well. And in many ways, Tension Scale is a love letter to The Burbs, which is a love letter to horror movies.
Yeah.
So ipso facto, it's our love letter to the movie genre to horror genre,
Yeah.
movies. We just love all that shit.
And also Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was also in it.
That's awesome. Well, Troy's got experience with this. Last time I talked to Troy, we were talking about a short film that Bricks and Mortar were doing in regards to their release from, yeah,
There.
yeah, exactly. And so is that something that you could end up doing? I mean, obviously they never made the Burbs 2, or I mean, if they did, I definitely never heard of it. But is that some sort of a short film sequel to incorporate with what you're doing and maybe where some of that fan fiction goes?
I think if you're in a band with Troy, you have to assume that some type of film component is on the table.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about what I want to do for a video for this band since I started writing the first words on paper.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do a video, but actually they are making a TV show. I forget what
Peacock.
channel. Oh, yeah, that's right, Peacock. It's got the kid from
Son.
I See Dead People.
It's Tom Hanks' son goes back to that house in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Like 30 years, like the actual
The actual
time
real
later
time.
is like I think it's 30 years, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same actor though, right?
No,
Okay.
and there, as far as I know, there's none of the original actors from the movie. It's not like it's almost like a spin-off sequel, like a spequel.
Okay.
And it's Tom Hanks' son supposedly coming back, but it's the kid that was in Sixth Sense, whatever
Yeah.
his name is.
Hallie Joe Osment?
Yes,
That's the son
he's
grown
like
up.
the main. Yeah.
And it seems to be the same thing. There's some horror element in the neighborhood that he gets confronted with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Joe Dante's involved or anything either. It's just like
What
a.
about Gene Dante? Is he?
Yeah,
in it?
Gene Dante's the lead.
He's an actor, so he might be in it.
Okay.
So this is a real thing, and
This is
it's obviously just clarifying, and it is associated with the Burbs.
It's called The Burbs.
Oh, amazing. Well, maybe they should reach out to you guys because I can't imagine there's too many Burbs themed bands or even Burbs themed songs for that matter. Just, I don't think too many people have a lot of movie themed or even television themed. I mean, maybe I'm just missing them, but not too many of them come to mind. So that is a great opportunity to include what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's fun. It surprised us when we found out about it. We're like, oh, maybe they need a hardcore band to open that show.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, Seth MacFarlane's producing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you should reach out and see what they need for their soundtrack, right? Maybe that's a future song.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Right? You already got a whole bunch themed. Have the band that's doing the original themed tracks or original tracks themed to the movie, rather, and do some sequel. Give you guys a concept of what's going on in the sequel, and you can write some stuff that's going to go out with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just gonna be it's gonna be a hardcore musical.
Yeah.
Right?
Beat down the musical.
Yeah. Oh, what's the new we came up with that was really good? Oh, barbecue
Breakdown.
breakdown.
Well, that's cool that you have some ideas maybe for some video elements. I love the visuals because the visual, any video for the most part is, it's just some sort of extension of whatever's going on in the lyrics, the music, and so forth. And so it's nice to see that additional component and, an additional component in something that you're familiar with. Hence the movie, people familiar with the Burbs. I'm sure you would include some sort of elements since that's what the lyrics are covering in whatever videos that you happen to do. And so that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And we have the Temple of Satan within walking distance
Yeah.
from here, and we're friends with them. So
And Satan's our
Satan's our
pal,
pal.
Also, it's almost innately like we wouldn't even need to put in, time and money and effort into props and stuff. It would just be like, hey, we're just filming in our neighborhood, which is a cul-de-sac with our friends who are all, creative people, and it would be like innately awesome.
I would definitely find a reason to build props.
We need a bunch of skulls, first of all.
And we're just lucky to live in an area that's got so many creative people and so many people just like willing just to help and have fun and create a vision out of nothing just for the fuck of it, it's
Right.
Lucky like that.
You have your own Burbs, as it were. So are there any plans to write a track based on your area, your Burbs, your cul-de-sac, as kind of an extension of the movie, because it's, what you guys got going on, a little bit of an extension of the Burbs?
Maybe. Got so much Burbs material. Maybe one day that will come.
I mean, I also feel like our neighborhood is pretty boring, except for the chop shop down the street and the drug deals we catch on to every once in a while.
There's the shooting.
The real,
Yes.
there was a
There was-
shooting,
There was a shooting one street over.
but someone shot what was it, 68
66.
bullets? Did not hit a single person.
Oh, that's good.
Had a whole bunch of like gutters and
Gutters
things.
and houses.
Yeah. But they were aiming at a person down the street.
Oh,
But when you
Just-
shoot a gun like this,
Well,
it's,
yeah.
Bad shot. Yeah.
well, at least I didn't hit anybody. Good thing that not a lot of target practice probably going on with people that are just trying to track people down and shoot them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And lucky whoever that was that got away. Good for them. You guys did your first show. So what do you have in the future coming up for upcoming shows?
Let's see, we're playing Oktoberfest at Rejects Beer Company in Middletown, Rhode Island. We're playing there with a couple of bands that we have some friendly connections with, Salem Wolves and Devil's Twins.
Devil's
You guys know
Twins.
Devil's Twins, and there's
Yeah.
a couple other people that are on the bill that I'm not familiar with, but that's always a good time. That brewery, throws a pretty fun event, and their flyers for Oktoberfest. They always do. At least they did the same last year. It's Michael Myers,
Yeah.
it's all like spookied out and all that stuff. So it's less about the
It's
beer
the theme.
celebration and more about like the Halloween style celebration, which
perfect for us.
yeah, totally makes sense.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one. And then we've got one or two shows coming up in November. There's the Moonbase show.
Yeah, we
were
got a
talking about.
Oiverse hardcore show in Salem at this really legit DIY space called Moonbase One. It's relatively new, and all the shows there have been awesome. It's an all ages sober place. And then after that, we're playing Manchester, New Hampshire. This is the week after.
29th, yeah.
the
like,
29th.
exactly the week after,
Yeah.
That's at a venue called the Shaskeen, which is it's like just like a I don't know Irish or whatever area over there,
Irish
but
kinda
a
pub.
pub that's got like pretty traditional food and like good beer and stuff. But there's like a front room. I'm talking to you like you're here. I keep forgetting. Like it's just like the Burn, but it's in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But it's like a big restaurant up front, and it's always packed. And then there's like the room is in the back.
It's like a venue.
Yeah, and it's one of those places where I'm like, oh, there's no way people here are gonna care about this or like want to see us.
It's
But we
awesome.
every band that I think Downhalls and Penny Morals both played there. Bricks and Mortar played there.
We played
And
there.
it's one of those shows where like everyone, maybe it's like not one of only a couple of venues, and people just always come out. For instance, when Penny Morals played, we literally were like, no one cares about us up here. And then there was a like college graduate or like I think it was like a high school reunion was in the room, like at the function room before us. And then we thought they'd all just like run away, and then we'd play to like 10 people, but they all like, oh, you guys are playing here tonight? Oh, sweet. And they all just stayed, and they were wasted, but they went to like we made like the most sales and merch we've ever made. All these just drunk people who were there for their high school reunion just like stayed and watched us. So I think it's one of those just like, it's a cool venue for just local people who care about music just hanging out. And even if they have no idea who we are, they just want to see something fun.
And it'll be our first show that's neither a brewery nor a sober space.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
October's a great time. You get a lot of the horror punk bands and horror themed bands, which it kind of is what you guys are. I'd say more movie, but it's, I wouldn't say an
Dark.
outright horror movie, but, more of a dark comedy, I suppose, whatever. I think some of those bands obviously do a lot better at October time of year, September, October, people more in that mood. But, some horror punk just fun I love hearing the upright bass year round. But I think you guys with that hardcore sound is very all year round. It just happens to be themed around a movie that I think is really fun to be into at this time of year. I have to assume more people at this point, since that movie's got to be 30 some odd. I mean, is it closing in on 40 years old, somewhere in that range, late 80s?
89, yeah.
Yeah. So not quite 40, but at this point, most people that probably watch that movie probably do pull it out around that September, October time. So a great time for you guys to get out and do some shows.
Yeah.
Constantly stuck in our DVD player, but
I also feel like that's actually you almost were like hitting on a point that I like to think about, which is we're not just doing this for the Burbs references or for the people who would like the Burbs, so maybe also the horror people, but it's more like we actually because a lot of people will do like a theme thing and then it comes off as like not serious for whatever the genre of music is, but like they're still like pretty serious hardcore songs. Like they're not
No, I mean,
Oh yeah.
What do you mean? So like
I wrote this as the movie is a horror comedy, but the band, I wrote the songs to be serious,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny because it's hard to pull some of the stuff off as being serious with the words
lyrics, yeah.
that I wrote,
oh yeah.
but it was intentional.
Yeah. As much as Tension Scale is a love letter to the Burbs and the horror genre, it's also in many ways, I think, a love letter from Troy to like New York hardcore, crossover hardcore,
Boston hardcore.
Boston hardcore, Oi, bands like SOD,
Yeah.
bands like Terror, things
sure.
like that. So it is intentional in the music to also hold up those standards as well.
Yeah, like I mean, Lauren's had stories about like her friends who's never ever seen the Burbs and
Mhm.
you know didn't even realize what we were doing lyrically, but was like, oh, I like this part in the song where you were like right before the breakdown, you go, hey Pinocchio, where you going? She had no idea where it was from. She just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
She's like, of all the things to say, why would you choose
Yeah,
that?
exactly. I think it does. I think we do a pretty good job of bridging that gap between like the people who know the words or the people who know the movie and therefore can guess the words versus the people who are just like, this is just good music. You know, I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is like it's a pretty good balance. And I think as far as I know,
It's like when I like give the band, here's this new song, what they first hear and when it goes through the tension scale machine and what comes out the other end is something totally different.
Yeah.
Like the way we work together to mold how that becomes is not what it originally starts out at, which is awesome because everyone can make it theirs, and then it comes out of this new birthed thing that is its own entity.
And I think you guys do a great job of that. I think I'm probably somewhere in between what you just described. I've seen the movie, so I definitely get the references. More so, I'm sure live show, you're probably not playing the audio clips right
No, we
before you
are.
no, we
played
did.
Trek.
We're
Oh,
all-
did you? Well, maybe you do. Maybe you are then. I was going to say, without those, I wouldn't. I'd be a little more lost if Troy didn't tell me. I would have had to hear maybe 2 or 3 of those and been like, is that all the same movie? Is that the Burbs? You know, because it's been a while for me. So I would be able to recall it. I just don't recall it offhand. I couldn't just say, hey, the band's called Tension Scale, read the names of the titles of the tracks, and then here's some lyrics. Cause you know, the Pinocchio one too. I wouldn't remember. I don't remember that line.
That's part of it. That's part of the magic too, right? Like, I mean, in some ways it's intentional. In some ways it's just sort of, it is what it is. But like I guess what I'm getting at is the movie references and all like the deep Easter eggs and stuff. They are there obviously because we love the movie and everything. But it's also like if you want to go to that level and figure that out too, that's like a little surprise for you as the listener or the person who comes to the show. There's stuff that we're doing that or referencing that may be on the nose to us because we've seen the movie a million times and we talk about it all the time, and obviously we're rehearsing the material. But it is not necessary for everybody else. Like for example, like we didn't talk about the name Tension Scale, like where that comes from, right? That's a reference to the movie. Where one of the what's his name? It's Rumsfeld, but I forget the actor's name.
Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern. Bruce Dern says to one of the Klopaks, "You're about a 9 on the tension scale," right? So that's sort of like the reference. I don't know if I'm like telling like state secrets here like,
No.
about the band,
No.
but my point is this: one of the other things that we do for like our T-shirts and like our merch and our stage presence is we have that really cool like Roman numeral 9. Oh yeah, Troy's repping the band merch. So
Yep.
it's,
Oh yeah.
it's kind of like this thing that is cool if you know. You don't have to know it to enjoy the demo or to enjoy the live show. And it may actually even like pique your interest if like you're like you see it. Like if you look at the footage from the first show, we've got the Roman numeral 9 coverings on the bass drum and all the speaker cabs and stuff like that. And that's cool if you know, and it may make you go, "What's that all about?" if you don't know, right? And then so there are like these little breadcrumbs, I think, that are part of this whole deal where we're kind of like luring the interested parties in. Check this out. Oh, this is a reference to a movie. I want to watch this movie. Oh, now I get these lyrics even more. Now I understand what the Roman numeral nine's for, because it's the nine, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like, if you want to go down the rabbit hole with this band, if you had no idea and you just like found us on the internet, you're like, huh, this iconography is weird. What does this mean?
Yeah.
And started like looking at it, all of a sudden you'd be like fucking 3 days later, you'd be like, oh my God, there's like buried bodies in the basement of this house somewhere. And yeah, it's a human femur bone.
Where'd you learn that?
Biology
Biology
101.
101.
Stay hungry.
I think it's perfect. I think you right before you said it, the term Easter eggs is what came to mind. You're just a killer hardcore band full of Easter eggs, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just doing, even if you're not listening to the lyrics that close, and you know what the Burbs is, you may not catch the references. You'll just enjoy the music for being some killer hardcore music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's the aim.
And we've been lucky because when I first did this, I had no expectation that anyone was going to understand what the fuck I was doing, and that was absolutely fine. But the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 interviews we've done just so happens to be with like Burb fanatics.
Yeah.
So it was this big surprise to me that people actually understood what we were doing without me having to say anything, and then made me even more surprised on the large cult following that this film has. I mean, Lauren's showing me like shirt designs and graphic posters that all these other people have done based on the movie that are super rad, that I was like, holy shit. There's like a whole different world that I and me being a super fan didn't even realize there was this much kind of cult underground with it.
Did it spark any ideas? So besides the T-shirt you're sporting, what other merch at your upcoming shows are going to be available for people to pick up?
Oh my God.
We got cool back patches from shirts that ripped
Yeah.
during screen printing
Yeah.
that John made by hand, limited edition.
Yeah. So we got some duds, and we were like, all right, what are we gonna do with these? We can't sell them, and we were like, all right, well, let's make back patches out of them.
Nice.
There's a bunch
I got a sewing machine, so I became the band.
And he's
tailor.
good. He's
Bands
good
and
at
shit,
it.
yeah.
We got some cool stickers.
We got a
sticker
lot of
app.
cool stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool sticker. The stickers are nice.
Stickers were dope.
And then we have, I mean, I'm sure we'll come up with new shirt designs in
Yeah.
the future. And
Yeah, this is just our first ever shirt. I think we made 37 of
We're
them.
We're gonna get like this Rick to life rock and roll hardcore mall situation going. District.
I think we got like,
we're gonna need a bigger shirt wrap.
We're gonna need a bigger shirt rack.
but,
Yeah.
I mean, you know my whole gig. Eventually, I want to put out a vinyl record because that's what I love doing.
Yeah.
So that's the goal in the future when we hit a real legit
Yeah.
studio.
Actually,
Is-
speaking of, we actually own the 150 gram vinyl,
Yeah,
like limited edition version of the Burb soundtrack. It's that Waxworks did.
yeah, sweet.
And it's got a huge, like gatefold, like double gatefold, like with like a an awesome print
And-
on the record itself.
And the
it's-
way that they did it, it looks like they only took the horror movie pictures from it. So you open it up and it's got the dream sequence where Ray's being grilled and they're all wearing the demon outfits with the big horns.
Yes.
And then the other side of the record, the actual vinyl's got Queenie with an axe in her
Yeah.
head. Yeah, they made it look like very much a horror movie.
Awesome.
That is great. Again, I think it's one of those, it's a dark comedy, but I think they did lean into, and when people reference it, they reference it as horror. I wouldn't say a horror movie because you were naming some of the movies in the movie that are legit horror movies.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody would quite say it's there. So horror adjacent, maybe, if that's a thing.
It's one of those 80s horror comedies that they just don't make anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Comedy is the appropriate.
You
genre.
could compare it to. It's I mean, Joe Dante went on to do Gremlins,
Well,
which
yeah,
is
the
kind
Gremlins
of
is
similar.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a horror comedy about
Right.
puppets.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think that's, people like to watch scary movies for whatever the reasons are, but sometimes gore for the sake of gore may not be what they're after. So maybe something a little bit lighthearted, you know, and I think it takes something more, like maybe more entertaining to be able to take both those genres and put them together. So maybe it's going to be, uh, I don't know, more entertaining just to sit through and watch as opposed to, all right, who's the next one to get chopped up?
Yeah, and it's the one of the cool things about it is how they harness that paranoia, that neighborhood paranoia, that and like all living, you know, in the same neighborhood together. When like some other like asshole neighbor down the street does something fucked up, and then we all kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
Like in real life, it very much reflects kind of what goes on in that movie.
But I think
Right.
the best thing though about the movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it since 1989 yet, then sorry, but that the whole time you're like, other people are trying to be like, calm down, guys. They're just neighbors. They're just weird. Like, oh, you're just being judgmental. Like, oh, they're from Eastern Europe. Like,
Yeah.
they're being raised, whatever. And then it turns out, no, they actually did kill the people that used to live there, and they have a bunch of skulls in the trunk of their car. Like, they are murderers.
Are they Slavic?
Yeah, they are Slavic as far as we know too. But yeah, so it's like one of the things like
Slavic
maybe you actually should be paranoid about the weirdos that live next door. Like we're also the weirdos that live
Yeah,
next
we're
door.
the weirdos that everyone else is paranoid about.
We are the weird.
I think when you
Not-
don't
not
know,
them,
you could
it's
probably
us.
create more in your mind, maybe something much crazier than reality. But you're right. There is crazy out there, so you never know which time it's gonna be crazier than you thought it would be.
Yeah, exactly. Or just always assume that your neighbors are murderers. Go through life.
Somebody's neighbors out there are murderers. That's just how human beings are, unfortunately.
Every
For sure.
murderer is someone's neighbor. So
Right.
I mean that's
Right.
like 100% of the time.
And in Salem, you can get away with it because everybody all the time is doing something sinister.
Well, Lauren, I'm gonna ask you, since you, as Troy pointed out early on, been behind the kit all other times previous, how do you enjoy being out in front of the kit? And now comparatively, because again, all of you are in bands, so I guess on a separate question here, you all have other bands that you're going to be mixing in what you're doing along with this one. So I guess how's that going to work for you too? But for you, you're bouncing from one very distinct place to another. How do you like it?
I think it's like when you like when I asked my mom if she loves Harrison Ford more than she loves my dad, and her answer was, I love them both, but in different ways. It's like the same thing. I hope she lives here. No, that conversation legitimately happened in our bathroom when I was younger. But I literally don't have any, I love playing the drums. I actually miss playing when we don't, practice or play as often. It's just a totally different beast. And I think once I got over the initial nervousness or hesitation or fear of embarrassing myself or whatnot, all the mental things were going on in my head. I'm fine with it now. Like I have the confidence, and I'm also just like, this is what I sound like. Go fuck yourself if you don't like it,
That's the way to be.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's how I am with everything else that I do. So I don't know why I ever let this make me feel otherwise. But
No,
Yeah, everybody likes different stuff. There's plenty of bands out there that are hugely popular. And for whatever reason, me personally, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not into it. Right. And so I'm that guy on that band or some other bands where a lot of people are into them. And then I've got plenty of other bands where I'm thinking, why are not more people into this band? And other people, for whatever their reasons are, just aren't into this band that I think is just friggin' awesome. So, eye of the beholder, you go out, do what you're into. And I think that probably projects more than worrying about how good it is, right? Like if you really enjoy what you're doing, other people are going to enjoy it more too.
well, that's the thing too. It's like, let's be honest. I'm 46 fucking years old. Like, I'm not doing anything for fame, money, like
Right.
being a fit. Like, I don't want people to recognize me as the next great singer. Like, no, I'm literally doing a thing that I'm like, I've always thought that I wanted to do this in my life, and in a band, maybe someday I will, and I'm doing it, and it's literally just for me and for this, because this is also a fun, incarnation of what I could be doing vocally. I don't think I'd even be like, oh, maybe I'll start another band and be a vocal. Like maybe I'll like start writing music, or maybe I'll tell Chrissy that I'm singing and
leave
now all of
us
sudden-
for a
yeah,
bigger,
yeah,
better
right.
band.
Yeah, right.
Devin's band.
Yeah. But I don't, it is what it is, and this is what I want to do. And I don't think that this is like, oh, my new vocal career. Like, it's not like that. So
But then that's freeing, right? Like
yeah,
that-
because
that-
I'm like,
that-
it's literally just for fun, and
Yeah.
and I'm having fun.
and
So
you can
that's
do
all I-
whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can like experiment if you want,
Yeah.
and not worry about if you're, I don't know, like toeing a line or something. you
Right.
know? And I hope that you find that we are like supportive of that, because like I want to see
100%.
you just grip it and rip it and like do your thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But I also, know you guys are all, fair and honest people, and will tell me, like,
Well, you're
"Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's
you're
weird. Or
you're,
that sounds
you're a
bad."
dear
Yeah.
friend of mine.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't want to let you do something that's embarrassing
Exactly,
either.
exactly.
So yeah. No, that's part of it.
Well, it's a good balance.
The joke that I was going to make in response to your question about managing other bands is that we're polyjamorous.
Ah,
Yeah, really hard. More than one band.
That is pretty good.
that was really good.
Thanks.
Well, you just get all your bands. I guess practicing would be kind of crazy all at one time, but if you just get all your bands to just play all the same shows together, then you just line up and you tag in like it's your turn on this one, and we'll see you in 2 when we get in together.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's pretty much all of our shows, even when there are other bands anyway. And it's always like I mean, we try not to be like exclusive, but we've just made so many friends in the Boston scene that every show we play is typically with our friends' bands. So we
It's
already
fun
kind
to
of have
play
that.
with your friends.
It's fun
Well,
to
yeah.
play with your friends. I mean,
Like we're doing it for
Nothing wrong
fun.
with
when,
that.
when I've got an opportunity to set up a show, I'm going to set it up with my friends' bands because I like to hang out with them. And
Yeah.
if you're playing in a band in Boston and you've been doing it for a couple years, you're probably fucking really good
Mm.
because the bar is pretty high up here.
Well, it's good that Sky Tigers. That was one of the bands you just played with recently. I know at least a
Oh, yeah.
few of your bands have played with them. That's how I come across that band in the first place. Is that I knew your guys' bands, and I see, oh, well, who's this band that they're playing with?
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're so good.
And then the guitarist Rochelle from the Sky Tigers is also the guitarist in Down Hall.
Best, best.
Exactly. I like polygamorous fellows.
Well, not all the sounds from all your bands are the same too. So that's probably one reason why so many of you are polygamorous. If it was all the same,
Trademark. I want a nickel every time.
Yeah,
Bryce
right.
does it.
Royalties.
Trademark.
right? If it was all the same sounds, you're probably like, well, I already got a band that kind of does this thing, so it probably makes sense to kind of branch out and do something else, play something else in a different band, not just be the same thing in each band doing the same sounds too.
Yeah.
I haven't played guitar in a band live, excluding Reckler,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for like years, like a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, I write a lot of songs on guitar. Like for Razors, I wrote a ton of songs, but I only sung live. For Bricks, I wrote a lot of songs on guitar, but played bass in that band and sung. So this is the first time I'm actually playing guitar live in like a decade.
Which is probably a lot of fun, right?
It's super fun.
Right. Yeah.
It gave me an opportunity to buy more gear.
I'm like, oh, I'll just buy another microphone. Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. I know, but
Yeah.
I kind of want one.
You can be Tim from VOD and have like a
Yeah,
big
no.
delay pedal.
I mean, I wanted a little delay, but maybe not.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, Jay, we haven't heard from you in a while. Why don't you tell us about how you enjoying doing the drums?
Oh man, I love it. Like I'm just pretty much whittled down to this. Like before this, I was doing all sorts of like studio stuff. Last week was the first time I'd played live in about 8 years, so that was cool. And it was just off like a rocket. It was great. It was a little tense to start the whole process, but once I got really because this was my first rodeo with these guys, like period. And once I kind of broke that ice, it's just been on. So
We trained for it. We kicked ass.
Yeah.
that's right. It's been exciting.
Yeah.
When was the first time that everybody got together? Compared, putting the dates together is what I'm doing here. So your show was September 5th, whatever that Friday was, 5th or 6th. And so when did the band first get together, all 4 members?
I thought I have like a shitty iPhone recording of a practice or a riff we were working on that's got like a February date on
With
it.
Lauren, I don't think so.
Like going to maybe Lauren, maybe we were playing.
Yeah, I think you guys
We're
were
still
doing the
yeah,
song.
but we
fucking
have-
around.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe March,
Yeah, so if everybody together, yeah, probably then
March,
Marchish.
mid,
Mm.
end of March.
Which was actually kind of nice because I feel like well, I don't know, with my other bands, I guess we've done similar things, but we weren't working on like everything else in life. We weren't like setting a goal and then working towards it and having everything on this like organized schedule. Like, hey, let's just free for all it and see how it goes. And maybe we'll be practicing for a few months and we're like, nah, this isn't working. Or it goes like super well, and then we're like, all right, we're ready to book a show. And then we get that booked fairly far out so that we have something to look forward to, but also like plenty of time to get ready. And we're all busy people too outside of this. So there was, like entire weeks where we'd be like, oh, so and so's away or so and so's got a work
Right.
thing. And we're like,
John went on tour in the middle of everything,
Yeah.
and then had a wedding. I mean, you were gone for like a month.
I had a busy, what was that, June?
like end of
Au-
summer, yeah.
August,
Yeah.
August. I had
Yeah.
a busy August.
So right now it's nice because it's low stress, but like any band, as it starts building up momentum, things start being offered, and I'm
Yeah.
taking full advantage of the low stress situation right now.
Well, it's nice to have the other activities and then just be able to do it when you feel like doing it, especially with people that you like doing it with. And then, when you say you all live in the same cul-de-sac, I don't know if that's like on the same block or whatever, how that works.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Like we practice in their basement, and I walk to practice,
Yeah.
and I walk by Jay's house.
Yeah.
So like I live the furthest away, and we practice at 7:30. I leave the house at 7:20.
Yeah.
And I'm usually here early.
Yeah.
So like give you proximity.
Yeah, and
it's pretty close.
Jay lives 3 houses down.
3 houses down. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's the easiest practice I've ever had to do
Yeah.
ever.
It's a rough commute.
Right. Well, that's an important point though, because I feel like that's a lot of times when like for in the down hall, like Chrissy and Chrissy both live nearby, but Rochelle comes from Berlin, Mass, which is like an hour and 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So like we have to play if anyone's gonna cancel practice, we've got to like plan ahead of time, or she's like already on the road, And I just
Right.
fathom like that. I would never, ever. I love all the people that I played with, but I would never drive
That far.
an hour to or from anything for any band, except for a show. Obviously, we're playing shows far away, but there's no way I could do that weekly. That's insane. So
Unless it's paying your mortgage.
She loves
Right.
the music.
I know.
Right. That's 2 hours round trip, and that's just that.
And she never complains. And she's like, oh, I love the drive. I'm like, all right, you're better than me then. 'Cause I would probably be in jail now because I would have, murdered somebody. So
It is a long commute, but it's great that, and it makes it easy since everybody is so close together, and it probably is more convenient. It's just like, hey, let's get together.
And it's
Yeah.
another meta aspect of the band Burbs,
Yeah.
relationship. A movie about a neighborhood,
Yeah.
a band staffed or personnel by people in
Specifically,
the
A
neighborhood.
cul-de-sac.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
One way in,
One way out.
I feel like there's going to be an original song based on somebody's experience here in the cul-de-sac. I mean, original in the not derived from the Burbs, lyrically original.
Yeah.
You
I
may-
mean,
you might
there's enough. You talk about it like our neighborhood's boring. There's been enough shenanigans.
Yeah,
But yeah.
there's enough shenanigans.
You know,
in this.
Still
this-
is.
I mean, we used to live in Alston, which was a fucking berserk every second of the day, and in Alston on Com Ave. So this compared to that is a little bit slower, but there's definitely crazy shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like there was like the police came in and towed just about everybody's car in a chop shop 3 houses down. The other month. So there's enough weird shit that goes on.
There's plenty, but like you said, plenty. If you have 15 already, you got to get all that stuff recorded. That's what you're going to be playing. But maybe there'll be that spark of inspiration walking less than 10 minutes to practice one day, and you'll come across something, or you'll come across that something enough times. Like, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
chorus will be Dustin made me write this song.
yeah.
I can't wait to hear it now.
Get right to work.
Hidden
I know,
track.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bring back the hidden tracks, right? I guess you have to have CDs to do that. Otherwise, how else do you hide them?
Though now that would suck if you're on Spotify, you're waiting for
No,
the hidden track.
I do. The I don't want to be Tempo Negative,
Yeah.
I Don't Want to Be Me,
Yeah.
has that like. Remember, it's like the end of it is like a 5 minute just
Yeah,
like
but-
static.
But when
thing.
did that come out though? That came
I'm
out in
saying
the
it's
era
on
of
Spotify.
CDs. But they kept
They kept that in the so like if you listen to the album on Spotify,
But it's
it
still
has the same
sound.
thing.
It's the train.
yeah.
But we're talking about the hidden tracks, like one of the Morningside records. 13 minutes after
Well,
the
yeah.
last song,
Yeah.
boom, it comes on and scares the shit out of
Yeah,
everybody.
right.
No one's gonna do that now.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but it was on the CD. I think it's like track 10 or 11's like the last track, and then all of a sudden, like every 5 seconds, it's like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then eventually it gets to whatever the hidden track was.
Yeah. Well,
Or you just have you look on digital now and you're like 9 minutes. Why is a
Yeah.
hardcore band doing a 9-minute track? That can't be a
know.
hardcore song.
longer than 3 minutes. I'm like,
Can't-
skip.
can't
skip.
have it.
Yeah.
Not a hidden track.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 minutes does not make any sense, but then you listen to it and it was about 1.5 to 2 minutes, and then you got about a 7-minute space, and then something else pops on. So bring back the hidden tracks. There you go.
I just won't listen to it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's harder to skip, I suppose. You got to hold the button down or slide it and get it in the right place. That's inconvenient.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know how you do it anymore.
Technology doesn't
Yeah.
exist yet.
The future hated it.
Streaming hidden tracks. That's the next big thing.
Or just an unnamed track, still hidden. You just don't have to wait a couple extra minutes listening to Trains or Dead Air or something like that to get to it. Just like, oh, that wasn't listed. What's this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a gigantic elephant fart.
I think the new is like you put out your 2 EPs, you hold on to a couple of songs that you don't put out, and then when you do the physical release of the 2 EPs as like a full record,
Yeah.
you put on those
Yeah, like
you know,
bonus tracks.
Yeah.
you put on those bonus tracks. That the only way to get those is if you actually buy the material,
Yeah.
you buy the actual physical
Yeah.
product.
Right.
Not
That's a
the
great
same,
way to do it.
but it's in a streaming world where everything's streaming, it's like, why would I want the physical media thing? Well, it's another thing to incentivize to buy
Yeah.
the LP.
Yeah,
I agree.
For the week before somebody puts it on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We didn't talk specifically about your tracks. You've got 5 of them. Let's cover those and just the references to the Burbs movies, or even if we're all burbed out, I'm cool with that too. If you just want to talk about the track in any which way you want to, but you got 5 so far. The other 5 are you going to do those 5 when you get together in December in demo format, release those as well? Or what's your release plan?
Did,
Yeah.
similar to what we did with the first go round.
Okay.
Have the concept for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
didn't know
names.
how much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Say it.
okay, never.
There's a secret plan, but no, like, yeah, there's a plan. But in terms of what we're recording, yeah, the next wave of songs, demoing them here in the basement. Ian and Swid coming in, work their magic again. We'll put guitar cabs in the laundry room over there. Because it sounded great.
Somehow.
Don't know what the acoustics is with that bathroom in the laundry room, but it sounded great. So yeah, pretty much the same format. Hopefully with some improved headphones and things like that. Yeah, because that was one of the funny little kerfluffles with
Yeah.
the recording.
John and I were actually playing our instruments, and we couldn't hear our instruments. We were only listening to Jay's drums to hope we were doing it right.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, it turned out great.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, or you want to start with Green Sky? You want to talk about it?
Oh yeah, I mean, so Green Sky is about. Well, I think we already hit on this a little bit, but
A little bit, yes.
the scene where they're out, hanging out, being spooky.
Isn't it also an old Sailors reference?
Well, yeah. It's, now I'm not going to be able to recall the actual.
It's an actual
thing.
like spoof out of Sailors reference.
It's like green sky at night.
Sailors.
Sailor take flight. Green sky at morning. Sailor take warning.
Yeah, but
There
isn't
you
it
go.
Red Sky?
I thought it was Red Sky.
Yeah.
I actually heard it growing up, and I heard it as Red Sky.
Yeah, Red Sky at night, Red Sky at night, Sailor's Delight. Red Sky at
Yeah.
morning, Sailor Take Warning.
That's-
That's what it is.
that's it.
Sailor's Delight. Yeah, yeah.
So whatever. Corey Feldman was obviously on tons of drugs during while they were filming The Burbs.
Yeah.
So maybe he messed it up, and they're like, "Let's keep it." We
No,
like this guy.
it's in the script as
Oh,
Red
is it
Sky,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Green Sky, the song is a really good example of what Troy was talking about like a couple minutes ago when you were talking about how you come up with the idea, but then what goes into the top of the funnel is not what comes out the bottom of the funnel after
Yeah.
we all like do our thing. So like I'll tell you, Troy sent me the guitar demo. You know, that's just like here are the riffs in order. Kind of arranged, right? Like you
No,
kind
they're
of
arranged.
you were
Yeah.
like, this is
It's
how it is.
done.
And I listened to it and I noodled around with it at home. And what I think I wrote you back like the next day or something. I texted back and I'm like, dude, there are like 7 songs in this riff. Like, what is this spaghetti mess of like riffs that you came up with? And then like we worked it and we worked it and we worked it. And then all of a sudden it like made sense. And I'm like, okay, I know how this like goes together now. Like, and now it's a song in my brain. Whereas before I was just like, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well, I also feel like when it goes, like, I think what Jay is probably a very important part of that process, because it is like you just kind of like, you write really great riffs and you write great parts that lyrically and on guitar are like badass, and they go, it's like, you know, this is super chuggy and this is more, and then here's like the really hardcore part and here's like the oi anthemic chorus, but then until you actually hear it with the rhythm section, but
Mhm.
you know, the drums actually breaking things up and making things more structural and making sense, that's when it really comes together. And I think a lot of what you do is great too, because you like match the things, like the way I'll sing a line and you like, you know, hit the same cadence with the snare or whatever. But yeah, so I think they are really broken up pieces that don't fully come together until we all.
When you're writing, I know you write very.
Hey, who's interviewing who over here?
Isn't it interesting to the
I'm just kidding, yeah,
consumer
yeah.
to get some of these deep insights? When you're writing, I know that you do. You write a lot to the lyric that you write.
Yeah, that's
So
what I do.
so it's very structured along the lines of what type of vocals you're envisioning. Do you also? I never asked you this. Do you also think of the drums too? Like, are you hearing in your head like this is a beat that has this sort of pattern or this type of intensity?
Yeah, and trying to translate that to any drummer that I've ever been with
Yeah.
is super hard.
It's difficult.
So a lot of times I'll be like, hey, this beat here in Biohazard
Yeah, yeah.
is something similar to what I'm thinking about. Or recently there was a song that I was like, oh, listen to this beat in Snapcase, you know, this specific one. Not to say this is exactly what I want, because it wouldn't fit, but this is the style
Right.
that I'm envisioning this to sound like. I found with all the different bands I've been in, when I try to explain to drummers the drum beat in my head, it's virtually impossible and leads to frustration. But if I come with a band that has a similar thing, usually the drummer's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that also makes sense. I feel like that's maybe we're all not visual learners, but oral learners.
Well, one thing that's
Like-
great in this is Lorex, the drummer. So a lot of times she has the understanding and can translate it to Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like my go-between to like interpret Troy to tell Jay, and the
Yeah.
dude's like, "Oh, thank you, I
Yeah.
appreciate that."
It's a great advantage of having a drummer on board. It really is.
I bet.
I mean, speaking of Green Sky specifically, when I was sending the tracks to Swid, just in conversation, he's like, "I want to hear them," and then I sent it to him, and he'd be like, "Hey, man, I can put some like synth drums on here, super easy. Like it'll take me 15 minutes. Send me what you got, and I'll do it." And because I was like, it's a pain in the ass for me to. I'll do it to a metronome, but for me to kind of like figure out how to put a drum machine on there for my studio thing, I don't have the patience. So Smith's like, I'll do it. And I sent it to him, and a day goes by, and then a half a day goes by, and then I get a text message that says, "Dude, I have no idea what you're trying to do with this." It's the same response I
Yeah.
got from John.
Yeah. You confounded both Swid and I.
But then when Swid was recording it, he's like, yo, is that the song you sent me? And I was like, yes. He's like, wow. Wow. In a million years, I wouldn't have thought that's how it was supposed to go.
Well, it's good that somebody was able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's the machine. It's going through the meat tenderizer and then popping out the end with a little bit of all of us.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, I was gonna make a Play-Doh Fun Factory analogy, but
Oh,
But
nice.
the-
Yeah, so you take all the different colors and you push them through, and then it like
Yeah.
turns brown.
yeah,
Turns like a
it turns-
duty.
It turns brown.
So
Oh,
we'll just polish the food real shiny.
Yeah.
It turns brown.
All right, well, let's go over some of them other songs because again, the other songs you are playing some of those that you're going to be recording in December at your live shows, I'm sure, right? So people want to hear any that are not on the demo that came out in August. That's where they're going to want to hear them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're playing all of them at the live shows, but that's where they would hear any of the other 5.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's cover some of the other 4 then. Besides, obviously, we've covered Green Sky.
All right. What
Then
else we got?
I'm looking at the set list on the board right
Yeah,
now.
what, I forget. What
Hard Camo, which is another. So Green Sky and Hard Camo, I think, were the 2 that people responded to the best, 2 out of all of
Yeah.
our friends that or people that told us how they felt about it
Yeah.
when we first put it out. And Hard Camo, it's funny because that one it was the hardest for me to learn vocally. Like the verses are very like, because the music is it's not like what time signature is it even in? Do we even know?
I don't know.
It's in its
I'm not
own.
classically
It's
trained.
like a made up
from the
time
street.
signature. And so it's like the cadence is just so bizarre, and like
Yeah.
the way that he wrote the lyrics, well, under it, it took me so long to figure out that pattern. But then once I got it, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But it's also one of the ones that has the most words per line. So I had to actually like go back to my, go to the voice lessons and like learn how to breathe and like
Yeah, it's
do the like
It's
proper
songs about
breathing
breathing.
methods. Yeah, 100%.
It's also like a punk music genre sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like the opening section of it that is your very like meat and potatoes,
Beat
like
down.
beat down
Yeah, yeah.
hardcore, and then there's like a melodic oi
Yeah.
part. You know,
Oh,
There's-
speaking of lines.
yeah, got me doing my best
Chuck Reagan.
Chuck Reagan impression in the vocal booth. But it's a blend of like those 2 sort of musical styles that I think works.
Yeah.
You know,
And also conceptually, if we want to hit that too quickly, it is all about Rumsfeld. It's Bruce Dern's character. It's the next door neighbor that's like the ex-military guy who's crazy, but he's still got all of his, like a soldier's way saves the day.
yeah.
Like all those lines, and it literally it really includes all of the lines that he has in the movie.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite characters in that movie. That dude just does not break
Yeah.
the entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do now, soldier?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like before the Klopeks moved in, he was the weird neighbor.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's got camaraderie with
Yeah.
the rest of the neighbors because
Yeah.
he's not the weirdo arms dealer across the street
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. So that's Hard Camo.
Yeah.
With Hard Camo, I will point out that the first time hearing it, I knew it was the last track. I'm letting them play, and probably about halfway through, just as you pointed out, I thought, did it change to a new track? I thought that was the last track going on there. That sounds like a different track. Let me go check, and it was still the same track. So I definitely noticed a little bit of a change up there. I thought it switched to something else, and I'm like, I don't know how it did. It's the last track.
Yeah, no, it's just Troy's brain.
Yeah, I gotta.
Done with this, on to the next thing.
Sometimes songs call for a little bit of oi,
Yeah.
and
But
I
that's
gotta
also
heed
something-
that call.
Yeah, that's also something that this is not new. Like that Bricks did the same thing, Raisins did the same thing, and in a different way, but it's also a lot of people give you feedback to that is like your with like sweet spot or like your
Specialty.
like superpower.
Mhm.
But it's also like you don't really find that anywhere else. It's very unique. And a lot of people are drawn to that because they're like, I love hardcore. I also love oi. Never thought of smashing them together. Like we're literally you booked a hardcore versus oi show.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's like I just want my 2 favorite bands or 2 favorite music genres to get along every day.
Which is great. I love both genres too.
Sex Door being the hardest fucking song.
Oh,
my
yeah,
God.
that one was really hard. But it's also that is actually of the 5 on the demo, I think that one's my favorite.
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was like the bane of my existence for
It was
we-
made of all
for-
of our
for
existences.
weeks
Yeah.
until like something happened and I was like, oh,
They're talking about
here
house
it-
next
here it
door.
Yeah.
goes, yeah.
It literally was for all, maybe not, I don't know if it was for you both
I
as
think it
well.
was the
but,
hardest
like,
song that we had.
yeah,
to
like
get
for some reason it was
comfortable
the one that like we all like I would mess up the words the most.
Yeah.
I would forget where to come in. I would like flip flop verses.
Yeah.
And yeah, it took you a while to find the like spots
Yeah.
to actually chain.
Accents, yeah.
But then once that wasn't the case anymore,
Oh.
when we hit it, we're like, oh shit, this sounds great.
There
And
it
then
is.
we like never fucked it up again. Like it was
House
weird.
Next Door was the second one we worked on together,
Yeah.
right?
I think
Yeah.
so,
We did
first one.
Phosphate Dreams first.
Yeah.
And then,
And then we did House Next Door.
Yeah.
Phosphate Dreams, I feel like was a little easier because it
It
was
was
more
easy.
like, okay, the vision is already there.
Yeah.
Learn the parts.
Yeah.
House Next Door, I think, was a bit of
That was
a
inspired by
challenge.
you.
Well, because we were like we're like, how do we want to make this more us?
Yeah. Of a D beat song.
Yeah, yeah. And we were trying to, yeah, exactly. We were trying to get some D beat into it, and that sort of, I think, prompted us to be a little more like, let's workshop this approach, which I don't know if that's why it was maybe difficult or what, but yeah, it fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
Like it took everybody a while to feel
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we did because I think it's better, off for being molded the way that it got molded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remembered what I forgot earlier. I apologize, brain fart. But it was the mentioning of Troy's superpower, and it brought me back to a previous time I talked to Troy, and he talked about having like group vocals on some of the band's songs, but he would bring women in to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. And I
That-
think that with
Power.
this band, it is a really good complement with the female vocals to have the male vocals in the group.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of
Wow. I got
Yeah.
good memory, bro. I
Yeah,
I
right.
can't believe you remembered that.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny though, actually Helen from
The Giant,
from the
like-
Giant, and then Tijuana Sweetheart, and also Petty Morals. But now she's in a well, not new anymore, but a band called One Fall.
Yep.
She is, also our neighbor, also like our, my best friend, and she came in while we were recording, and we just like sat and listened to whatever song we were working on, and after like 10 seconds, was like, I already know all the harmonies I'm gonna sing to these songs. Like, well, we're not okay. Let's save it for the studio. Like, we're not gonna do them on this demo, but
She's
it's-
great.
Yeah, she is really good, and that's also like Ty is really good at that
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
especially when we have like overwhelming male vocals, like that is a little superpower to bring in like the female to mid-level everything out. And her writing is just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like she impresses the shit out of me with what she does in her band One Fall, but she's always brought something to any band I've been in. And I've been like, yo, here's raw tracks. Listen to them. Anything you got, you're welcome to try it out. And it's always unbelievable.
Yeah.
From like Razors of the Night to Bricks and Mortar. I'm sure this band's no different. It's super impressive.
Yeah.
Right. And it's noticeable. Obviously, I had the knowledge ahead of time of the conversation we had. So as the male vocals are coming through as the back vocals there, that's the thought that was coming through my head. It's like, oh, it's the reverse of what he did, and it's a good
Yeah.
compliment in this.
Yeah.
So I had that conversation in mind while it was happening, but still, even if I didn't, I just like the compliment to the either which way you go with lead vocals to have that opposite, like as you pointed out, kind of bring it down, bring it up, but either way it's different. It's not the exact same. It doesn't sound like if you don't know any better, the lead vocal guy is also doing the background vocals because everybody kind of sounds similar to him.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a bunch of dudes doing it at the same time.
Yeah, it's also like I
Like
feel like
big guys in a bathtub.
yeah.
That's a
In your
Saturday night.
dreams, yeah.
That's a whole different evening.
There's also, all my other bands have been all females, and when we get into the studio and record gang vocals, it's like, oh, cool, it just sounds like a bunch of kids on a playground when we do gang vocals. So we like need, and I even try to like sing with the low, and it doesn't round it out. So we need the dudes to come in to like bring in the baritone. And then for this one, I feel, or for most bands made up of dudes, I feel like it is the same. It's like, oh, great, a bunch of dudes screaming at me. That's cool. Like, but then you add a couple of the female voices and it balances it out. So
Right.
yeah,
All about the balance.
that's actually
It makes it more interesting. There's plenty of bands. I like the background vocals, guys and whatever. It's cool. I like it. I wouldn't change it specifically.
guy on girl, girl.
Right. But it does make it more interesting when you do change it up that way.
Yeah, I mean, like for in the middle of the night, one of the first times I was like, all right, the whole band's gonna cut out. It's just gonna be just guitar and Lorex vocals. And I didn't know how that was gonna sound. In my head, I had, the idea, but when we did it came through pretty awesome. And um yeah, I thought it complemented it well and didn't sound like the asshole dropped out of it.
because
I think it was great too. All the tracks are great. Definitely the style of hardcore I like most, but a lot of that East Coast hardcore, Boston hardcore. I mean, as you talked about, kind of an ode to New York, Boston, and so forth. It definitely comes through because it's definitely that style of hardcore as opposed to some of the other ones that I might not particularly be that fond of. So for me personally, I like it.
Awesome.
well, we discovered a new hardcore that we didn't know we liked. Well, at least Troy and I did. I don't know if everyone's into it, but Locked Shut
Oh yeah.
Oh,
from
they're
St.
awesome.
Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
Dude, if you're
Yeah, if you like Boston style hardcore, you should
Yeah.
check them out. They are fucking awesome.
they're so broke, but I'm also like, where are these guys from? Like, they sound like they gotta be from like New
They
York
sound
or
like they're from
something.
Baltimore. They
Yeah,
sound
Baltimore,
kind of like trapped
just
under ice.
super tough.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I look them up. I'm like, Missouri. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a hardcore scene. But
They're real
you
good.
They're like, start following them on Instagram. You see like the videos from their shows, and actually, even that they played a show in Brooklyn recently where it was off the hook. I'm like, someone had to have died at the show because it was just like bodies flying and the singer like barely singing any words because he's just got the mic out.
They
like that
they
bad.
are
Yeah,
they are great.
Yeah.
I
And-
super like them.
they're really good.
They little children. They're youngsters.
If I was gonna guess, I'd say late 20s or early 30s.
I mean, I'm speaking, referencing
Yes.
the fact that I am an old man.
Oh yeah, we are. We are children technically.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
In my mind, I'm never stepping 27.
But the singer's also got great stage moves that whenever I see photos or videos online, I like, mental capture. 'Cause I'm like, I want to do that move. I want to learn how to do that move. Like that seems physically impossible. How do you do that? I'm definitely more flexible than him. I don't know how he's doing that.
Definitely. Miss a song?
Yeah, we didn't talk about.
We didn't give him anything for Phosphate Dreams.
Oh shit! That's Phosphate Dreams is the first song that we ever wrote, we ever learned together, and
middle of the night.
I just did. And it's about during one of the scenes in the Burbs, they talk about a guy who used to own like a five and dime candy penny store at the end of the block, and how he was known for making lemon phosphates, like those soda pops from back in the day, and those soda pops from back in the day. And one day he just snapped and like took an ice pick and killed his whole family and then let them rot in the summer. And the neighbors finally started complaining about the smell coming from his house. And when the neighbors went to investigate, he lit the whole house on fire and burned everything down. So that's where Phosphate Dreams comes from. It's the telling of that story in the world of the Burbs of this crazy guy who used to own this, candy store that killed his whole family.
Musically, it's an attempt. I think it's an attempt to blend a little hardcore with the flirting with a little bit of D beat in there.
Yeah.
I play like this little lick that's kind of like a little black and roll kind of thing, in the whatever it is before you go into the.
There's no structure.
I was gonna say it's not like
in
a
these
chorus.
songs. Yeah. There's like songs that are like, oh, this is just 7 choruses smashed
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, but it's like a hardcore D beat kind of like.
It's a tough one.
sandwich. But it's awesome.
Well, those are the 5 songs. Is there anything that you would like to divulge? I mean, some people are going to see you guys play some of these tracks live, but out of the ones that you're going to record in December, are there anything musically? Obviously, we know where you're going, not specifically, but generally where you're going lyrically with the tracks. Is there anything musically that you're maybe doing different than what you've just described in the 5 tracks that are already out?
And I was gonna say, Ricky, but-
I think it's just we're getting more comfortable doing this thing together, and I think it's showing in the music coming out. If you want to talk about Ricky, that's fine.
I mean, there's a couple. Yeah, it's not like there's.
We got a couple bangers that are crowd pleasers.
I mean, my favorite song of all of our songs is called "Stay Hungry," and it's not on. It will be coming out soon. I don't know if it's anyone else's.
I might be
favorite
with
song,
you on that. Actually,
yeah,
it's like
'cause-
really took me by surprise over the last.
It's like so this well, thematically it's wonderful because I mean, it's got a bunch of other stuff in it too, but it's focused around the scene in The Burbs, if you remember, where Art shows up at Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher's house, just like, oh, you guys eating in there? He literally goes, you guys eating in there? And walks in the kitchen and just proceeds to just take all of the food out of their fridge. But he's having a conversation talking about the neighbors next door, and the kids getting all into it, being like, I saw them digging in the backyard. But if you watch, and we actually had to watch it and pause it and play it and see, I'm like, oh my God, he just pulled a pineapple out of the fridge. What is he going to do with that pineapple? He just puts it on the table and he doesn't touch it. And then he takes a thing of syrup and puts it on his pancakes. It's empty. He puts it back in the fridge. It takes
grabs a new one.
There's all this like weird shit that's just like half scripted and
Carrie
like
Fisher's walking by to feed the dog, and he reaches into the dog bowl, takes a handful of
yeah,
dog
and
food,
just
and
shoves it
eats
to his mouth. And
But
he's
if
like,
you're not paying attention, you miss it.
it's very like almost like a ballet happening behind, like, you know,
Yeah.
behind the script where he's talking about the neighbors. And then he's just like all this crazy shit. And so he literally watched that scene over and over and wrote down every single
Every
thing
food.
that he eats and then turned it into lyrics for the song. So like I literally sing a lyric that's like bacon in the middle of 2 eggs is a bridge. Like so that he could rhyme bridge with fridge, because who puts an empty bottle of syrup in
Back
the
in the fridge.
fridge? So it's my favorite because of the lyrics, the lyrical genius I think behind it, but it's also like structurally it goes
What's got that breakdown you like? at
well.
the end?
That's my favorite breakdown of all of our stuff. Like at the end where it's like it slows down a little bit and it gets heavy, but then it like picks up and it's like very. I get to yell and scream and point at the audience. Not that I don't do that the whole time anyway, but more so.
She's a pointer sister.
Yeah, just the
Pointer brother.
the dynamics of it for me are the dynamics and the lyrics are really just solid. I feel like.
It sounds like a lot of fun. I hope to get to see your guys' show. Other than the short clip that I did see, that'd be a lot of fun because it's just such a killer style. And again, a lot of great bands that come from your guys' neck of the woods that do killer hardcore. You know, I'm choosy when it comes to all my music. I love all styles of punk, and at the same time, I'll pick bands out in all styles of punk. I'm like, it's not really my thing. I don't really like it for whatever reason, right? But what you guys are doing, great, and it looks awesome. Definitely a fantastic concept. Because again, I'm going to go back to you're a hardcore band with Easter eggs, because it's so much more intricate as opposed to you pick out a band like the last Boston hardcore band I saw Haywire over the summer. They did like
Oh my God,
They're awesome.
yeah, they're amazing. They did like 3 or 4 month long tour. I mean, like May till beginning of August, they were out and they came through Salt Lake and out lifting weights out in the parking lot before their set was coming on. Cause they got the big trailer and a whole bunch of weights that just pulled out and they're out lifting their weights. And, you know, they come in and their show sounds just like the show you talked about, the St. Louis band. I mean,
Yeah.
people fist fly, and I'm surprised somebody didn't walk out with a bloody something or another. I don't, you know, but
They all mix. They do a good
they
hardcore
do good.
boy mix.
yeah,
It's either hardcore or
Yeah, they mix it in one
they'll
song.
mix it
They
in
have
one
like
song, but they're great, man.
Yeah.
They're really good.
they're killer, but they don't have as the Easter eggs, right? They have their songs, they have their meanings, just like most every band has songs and meanings. I mean, every once in a while you get a goofy band singing about like aliens or pizza, you know, some weird shit like that. I mean, I should say weird, just maybe less meaning behind it, and they're just having a good time. So Haywire's got their meanings. Other hardcore bands have their things, but you guys have your thing. So you have the great sound, but you got that extra level. Like if you're paying attention to what's going on, you're going to pick out all the things. You're going to pick out all the foods. And like, what are they talking about? Even once you know it's a Burbs band, and you'll be like, what are you guys talking about? I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this because what are they? I know that they're singing about the Burbs, but I don't know what they're talking about here.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall to someone who's never ever seen the Burbs,
Yeah.
who's just listened to a hardcore band and finally decides to read the lyrics for the
Yeah.
first time. What the fuck are
Dude,
they talking
I
about?
lost my shit. I remember when you brought "Stay Hungry"
Yeah.
to practice and put the lyric sheet in front of me to rehearse it and learn it, and I was like, I couldn't play seriously
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like a good 5 minutes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck is this song about?
Yeah.
And it's hilarious and fun and awesome at the same time.
There are some styles of punk that it would probably come off more goofy if you were probably singing some of the things just as you pointed out. But with the style that you guys are doing with hardcore, I think it's more you have to really pay attention to the lyrics because the the sound, the other audio cues coming out of the band aren't signaling that that's where the lyrics are going.
Oh no, it's serious.
Yeah.
Approach is fucking serious. That's the thing.
Right. As I was talking about early in the show, like if you guys would have chose to be a horror punk band and put some makeup on and stuff like that, it'd have been maybe a little more campy and kind of goofy, but it would have been thematic, right? You guys would play a whole bunch of shows each year, and we got a couple of those bands here, not specific about movies, but they're horror punk theme, right? And a horror punk band could totally pick out a movie such as The Burbs or some other thing and totally do that whole thing, but it would come off more as that they are, I don't want to call it gimmick because I'm not trying to downplay what somebody's doing, but it's almost more of a gimmick band as opposed to, I'm going to stick with the hardcore band with Easter eggs in it type band that you guys are.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like we're looking to play shows with other hardcore bands, not like
Goofy bands.
open up like a horror convention or like Comic-Con, like that.
Yeah.
I mean, no diss to people who do that.
No, there's time and a place, sometimes you're in the mood for that.
If there was horror conventions that want
What do you mean we don't want to play Comic-Con? Comic-Con fucking called like tonight. I'd be like, hey, let's go to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we sell the condo.
I think though the one thing that you got to do is probably keep some of that theme in the videos you do, even though the music will be right. And so that's your in on the horror conventions. You're gonna have not just your regular music video, because I know Troy won't do that. You'll have something a little bit more than that, and then you're gonna be involved in the horror convention or the Comic-Con convention or the something else for that reason.
But I'm still do the video like seriously, even if it's based on the Burbs, the approach would be serious.
Yeah.
I think it should be, but you still should have some of the comedy aesthetic that you get out of the Burbs to it too. Not goofy, but maybe funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be there. We're knuckleheads. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
hiding that.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, that's how I Hail the Wolf was. Like,
Yeah.
there were parts in there and in the video that were like kind of goofy,
Yeah.
but not. I mean, like the band jumps out of these pods totally naked, but it still came off. Like
yeah, like the hand. The
Yeah.
hand comes out of
Yeah,
the
hold
car,
on.
goes
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that level of like, I don't know. Is
That's
that camp? I don't
goofy
know.
fun, I don't know.
It's fun. It's fun,
It's
right?
fun.
You
Yeah, that's one thing. Always keep it fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Right.
It's hard work sometimes, but in the end, if you can look it back and be like, that was fun.
Yeah.
We did something cool.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Right. And this will be the next chapter in that book.
It
Right.
will be.
And I'm looking forward to it. All right. Is there anything that we haven't covered about tension scale?
I think we've gone
I know.
A to Z.
All around and back again.
Well, I appreciate all of you taking the time that you have, and I'm definitely looking forward to sometime December, post-December, when those next 5 are on their way. And then you have, I think you named shows. How far out were your shows? I know obviously October, and I think you said November. How far out do you have shows scheduled for Tension Scale?
29th. And then nothing in December yet.
Yeah.
But if you drop a new demo, another opportunity, right?
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And you'll be hearing from us first.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Thank all of you for joining me. That was a blast. And I really appreciate all the insights, as I was a slacker and didn't get around to seeing the Burbs again before we did this. I knew I needed to, and I just didn't fucking do it. I apologize.
More motivation.
Yeah.
Never
Together.
too late.
Yeah.
SLC Punkcast.
Yeah.
Next time we get together, maybe once you put it all on an album, get a vinyl or something like that, we should do it again. And I will definitely have seen the Burbs before then.
All right, brother.
Good.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, again. Thank you all. And good luck at your shows coming up. Look forward to more music.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, buddy.
Bye, bud.
Take care.
Later.